Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Rest is Lean podcast. I am very pleased to be together with my good buddies. We've got Alan Lovian in one of these boxes here. I always point in the wrong direction. And we've got Russell Watkins, who looks very sad in one of the other boxes.
Konnichiwa.
Could be jet lag, could be the drink. We can't tell yet. So welcome to our podcast, and hopefully you're here because you enjoy a bit of information, chat, banter, philosophy, and theorizing around the whole world of OpEx, lean, continuous improvement, etc. We loosely call ourselves lean professionals.
Oh,
Videos about 30 minutes, take about that long to decide for yourselves. So let's kick off.
hang on, John. John, a point of order.
Oh,
I
point of
think they'll
order.
decide a lot faster than 30 minutes. I think a couple of minutes of this dross and people will make their mind up.
Let's start off with a quick round of what we've been up to. Mine's a quick one, so I'll start off. I've been up to lots, but mainly not lean things. Done a little bit. Actually, Russell was commenting on the fact that I've got Mr. Adair's free circles in the background. Been writing some
Ooh.
materials for a company at the moment, and that's up there for my thoughts. I've been researching, much as I know this a lot, I've been researching John Adair. I don't know if either of you guys have looked into that, but
Indeed, mate.
a very interesting fella.
hmm
I think people assume him just to be an academic, but he's a soldier, worked on Arctic trawlers in Norwegian seas, the dangerousest job in the world, that sort of thing. Been a hospital orderly
I
in
see.
operating theatre. Helped out Sir John Harvey Jones, sort out ICI, and
Troubleshooter.
then he got brought into Sandhurst as the advisor on leadership before he started being an academic. So
That's a life well lived.
it puts him right up there with, like, he's a Ranulph Fiennes, Bear Grylls slash
Yeah.
Brian Blessed of this world, the real character. So I've been mainly learning about Mr. John Adair.
Fair play.
Uh,
Are you appearing on Mastermind or something, John?
yes, specialised subject. Al, what have you been up to?
What have I been up to? Well, work related, still dipping in and out of a few of our trusted clients, but more specifically, or those of you that may not be aware, that we started out this year and grew, or been trying to grow our recruitment arm to 3Able. So I've been working with my good lady who's now joined us now
Excellent.
in the
Bing.
fold. So with her expertise, she's looking at heading that side of the business up. So we've been predominantly working on that. And also we're doing for some of our listeners and subscribers, they may or may not be aware that we're going to be introducing some slightly different episodes in a not too distant future, and that is one-to-one interviews with some of our fine
Yeah.
colleagues and friends from the world of lean leadership, etc.
Mhm.
So I know you've been doing a couple of those, John, and
Yeah.
as have I, and that's
Super
new.
duper. I think Russell's the slacker in this regard. So
He's done nothing. He's done
Russell,
nothing since we
Done
as you
nothing.
haven't been doing anything for the podcast, what else you've been up to, mate?
Four things in order. First, helping my sister pull down her conservatory. Secondly, I was at the Gemba Summit speaking in Belfast. Thirdly, I've been to Japan. And fourthly, cramming 6 weeks worth of client work into 3 weeks, and I'm knackered. The conservatory went well, only one cut. Belfast was really interesting. I enjoyed that. I did a breakout and a keynote, and one of them, it doesn't matter what they're about, but the 2 Second Lean community, they are really supportive of each other. They're a close community, and I enjoy having a nice Venn diagram overlap from crusty old lean folks like our community, where
Yes.
ego is often a problem, into the 2 Second Lean, where all they're really interested in, because it's founder driven and owner driven generally, their prime interest is who can I help? How can I be helped? We've got to survive and thrive.
Yeah. Yeah. They're after the
That was
benefit,
good.
they're after the goal, the philosophy and the academia behind it, whatever.
Yeah.
Show
So it
me the
is.
benefit, whether it's smiles or miles, it doesn't matter. as
Yeah,
long as it's better.
nice.
Yeah.
Nice, John. It was full on. Nice venue, the Titanic venue, because I have a tenuous link to Titanic, my through family and being from Southampton. But so yeah, that was good. And in Japan for a couple of weeks, bit of work, lot of pleasure. Um, and I'll be quick on this. I've got some souvenirs to show you in a second.
Ooh.
But most people, yes, it's nice to see Fuji without clouds in front of it. Enjoyed the trail walking, enjoyed the cities. But the two best things in Japan I've now done.
Ooh.
The best thing, number one, was when I went to Nagoya 5 years ago and went to the Toyota Memorial Museum and saw the Type G loom
Right.
with its original wooden knocker that invented error-proofing Jidoka automation,
Yeah.
that invented it. I managed to find a tiny man who would demonstrate it to me. That was number one.
I take it
Number
that
two,
is technically the first Toyota machine.
it was the first of that type,
Mm.
the Type G loom, because a number of people now know that Toyota were a weaving company before they were a car company.
Mhm.
And Sakichi Toyoda was inspired by his mother, wasn't he? Her having to unpick the warp or the weft.
Yeah.
And so that was what it was invented. Interestingly, Toyota family bought the patents for the weaving
Crabtree.
machines. Yes, UK company.
Hmm.
Which is great, isn't it? All paths lead back.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
But the second best thing in Japan, this time round, we went up to Kanazawa. I went to the port, found the Karakuri Museum. Karakuri is low-cost, creative, inventive devices that have no internal external power source. Levers, pulleys, fulcrums, gravity.
Yeah.
And I saw the T-doll being demonstrated, and I'm so happy. I can die happy now. And you probably know how it works. Do you know how the T-doll works?
No.
No, I don't.
Is
I
it
don't actually.
gravity moved or
Gravity levers, cogs, cams. It's a couple of 100 years old. What you do is you put a full cup of green tea matcha on the tray that the tea doll is holding.
Yeah.
And this doll is made of wood and it's on wheels. It then travels forward 1.8 meters, stops. You take the full cup off, you drink it. When you put the empty cup back on, the doll spins through 360 degrees, no, 180 degrees,
Yeah.
and then returns back to its starting position. Now that is, and Toyota and other companies are keen on this because it's low cost automation.
Yes.
It's easily maintained, cheap, etc., etc.
Yes.
So
So
how
anyway,
does it turn around, Ross? Is it because of the weight difference, the weight differential?
there is some very clever engineering in there that I will show you separately on the photos that I
Brilliant.
managed to
That'd be
take.
brilliant, mate.
Yeah.
And souvenirs. So I have a gift for you two, but I'll hold it up at the end. I got myself a Daruma doll.
Good man.
I might not be aware of. You fill in the left eye when you have an objective, and once you achieve it, you fill in the right eye.
Right.
It's a little Japanese thing. I nicked this from a very good onsen hot spring because I've got a client who could do with that kind of tagging system.
Yeah.
So I got that. And are you aware of Dr. Yellow?
No.
No. Is this a drink like Dr. Pepper but slightly less colouring?
With
No, it
jaundice.
isn't. What it is in they have bullet trains in Japan, Shinkansen. Well, to check the condition of the track, they have a yellow Shinkansen they send round out of hours, which does condition monitoring of the track, and it's called Dr. Yellow. Anyway, it turns out there's a range of merch for Dr. Yellow, so I got myself a little bag to put my cables in for work.
Is that a duck-billed platypus?
I think it is.
I will find something.
Yeah, it was quite interesting to hear you talk about looms connected with Toyota. I think sometimes because we're obviously automotive backgrounds, we're very used to talking about car plants when actually what we're talking about is two, three, four of our favorite Japanese industry manufacturing companies. The fact that they make cars is kind of mute point, side point. It's their style, their ethic, their desire to use low effort, low content, etc., that makes them leaning interest into them to us. And it just as you were talking about the loom, I was thinking, yeah, Honda actually make engines. Cars are
Yeah.
just something that they chuck some of their engines in. The
Yeah.
biggest manufacturer of engines in the world by some
Are they?
margin, yeah. Because when you start putting motorbikes, cars, and generators together, before you even add in all of the lawn mowers, trimmers, and everything else that is powered by
Yeah.
Honda, they outstrip
Oh,
everybody else. I think
yeah, yeah,
it's a
yeah.
big factor. It's like 4-1, I think. Whether that's changed with electrification, I'm really not sure. But they make engines. They just happen to make some cars to stick some engines in.
Yeah.
And Yamaha, which is obviously a bike for most people, it
Yeah.
is a car as well. As engineers, we're familiar with Yamaha because they make a lot of engines and all sorts of other bits and pieces. But not everybody will be aware. Look at the Yamaha logo. The Yamaha logo, when you actually look at it, it's pretty. It's three tuning forks
Yes, because they make pianos and things.
because musical instruments is
Yes.
where
And badminton
Yamaha come
rackets,
from,
John.
particularly um, pianos. Yeah.
Yes.
So they're manufacturing companies. So our
Well,
automotive heritage is
it's irrelevant, John.
it's irrelevant.
Like if you look at our current client rosters, so at the moment I'm working across 5 or 6 clients, and I've just scribbled down. In amongst them, you've got an EV charging startup.
Yep.
Somebody does traffic lights. Somebody does chemicals, and one of them makes cushions.
Yes. So
So you know,
all those things have got, if you wanted to, a link back to automotive.
Mm-hmm.
Cushions go in cars. Cars hopefully stop at traffic lights, etc., etc.
yeah,
But yeah, it's the whole manufacturing, I guess, is our background or mechanisms. I'm not sure.
yeah, yeah.
Interesting stuff.
Gents, this has been quite a light episode. Do you want to talk about smallest hills to get a bit of
Oh yes, yeah.
well,
Introduce us to the concept here,
well,
Russell, in case people aren't familiar with the expression.
yeah, smallest hill. So
Small hills.
smallest hill is what's the smallest hill you die on? It is something that you would defend to your last breath, even though most people would view it as trivial.
Yeah.
And so I got to thinking in lean terms, all of us have our pet things, things that bug us, things that really annoy us. So
Yeah.
20 odd years ago, I was over in America and there was a lady was showing us around her plant, very good plant. And somebody made the mistake of saying Kanban.
Right.
And she said, no, 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 no. It's not Kanban, it's Kanban.
Excuse my honk.
Uh, it's not even Kanban, but it was really important to her.
Yes.
She switched off that person on the tour, by the way, in a matter of nanoseconds. But clearly, that was a small hill she'd die on.
Yeah.
So I have a small hill I die on, and so I'll kick us off and make it
Yeah.
quick because I've talked a lot. OEE,
Right.
the calculation of OEE, and the smallest hill I'll die on is that the cycle time that people use for the productivity part of OEE. It is not the cycle time that you've got the machine to run at. It is the cycle time that you spec'd, paid, and commissioned the machine to run at. And I'm not going to hear anything else. And we're going to be here all night until I persuade you that I'm right.
So what will it do when turned to 11? Because that's where the knob stops. And I go, you can't do that, Russell. It'll break up. She cannot take it, Captain. Irrelevant. We've got 11. Wow, we're running at 11.
Well, but it's whatever you paid and commissioned for it to run
Yeah.
at. Otherwise, we're not surfacing trouble. We are fooling ourselves.
Yes.
Anyway,
As a side issue on that, I have to have lots of conversations with people trying to use OEE on people or on processes that have got machines in, but essentially, the pacemaker is the person, and they try to apply, 100% pace to it. And that,
and it's
tell
mad.
Roger Bannister how fast you can run a mile. and
Oh,
then tell the guy who's done it faster. There is no way of saying what is flat out for a human doing a thing because A, they can get better at it because we're human, and B, when they've run out of puff, they'll invent a shortcut, which means all these times are irrelevant and they've gone to a new league.
well, and OEE was never. I mean, you can have a strong argument about whether OEE is useful or not. The false product of three numbers. I find it useful in cases, but in a factory of 600 machines, if you're measuring OEE on any more than 15 or 20, I'm not sure why.
Yeah.
Bottlenecks, Al, that'll please you. Bottlenecks, machines that are heavily loaded but not quite a bottleneck, machines where there's no contingency, gateway machines to the process, but not everywhere.
No. It's funny you got me thinking by mentioning the OEE there, because that was a really good one, actually, I thought. You then went on to if you go on to the availability arm, I remember having to have a bit of a bugbear about the defining what is truly meant by planned downtime. Yeah.
Been there. Yeah.
Well, why can't we do changeovers are planned? Because you've got to change over.
Yeah. We plan to have a pretty steady day that day as well, I can tell you.
Exactly. Yeah. And going back to the general point about OEE, you're right in terms of, I always get quite passionate with the OEE when it comes to theory of constraints and bottlenecks. But my main gripe about it is it actually can drive the wrong behavior, because if you look at the whole system and you've got an OEE measure on a machine shop and that's not the constraint, actually it will drive you to build more work in progress. It's not going to help the system at all. Yeah. So there's, obviously a word of caution when you use an OEE. But yeah, we were talking earlier on about you were saying about small hills, and I'm sat there thinking I was panicking. I'm so glad that you mentioned OEE, because that's probably my one.
Because you've got no hang-ups.
It's the planned downtime. I've got loads of hang-ups. They're all in the closets upstairs.
Out of interest, I share that other small hill with you. It's sounding like I'm high maintenance now, but I share that with you. And my argument is always, yes, you can include changeover time as planned downtime if it happens when you expected it to and lasts exactly as long as you expected it.
Time every time. Exactly right. Exactly right. So that might sound like we had the same teacher.
Yeah, maybe.
John.
Yes,
John, what's your small hill?
Oh, it's very specific.
Good.
And to be honest, I'm pretty freewheeling as a person. As long as people understand concepts, how you understand it is fine. As long as you're getting the results you want, how you've got there is fine. It's all, I'm very freewheeling on this stuff. But the one thing that grinds my gears, and I have to stop anybody regardless of their level within a business, is when they start talking to me about, oh, we've changed the tact time. And they clearly don't mean the tact time. As a rule, it's not optional to change it, because how much time is there? How many of them do you need? How long is it going to take? They're not variables as a rule. You can change the length of your working day.
Yeah.
It's not a choice. It is literally a measure of how often you must deliver a thing or move it forward in order to satisfy the customer.
It's a calculated number rather than a time number.
Yeah, bad news, boys, we've got half the tact time. Or we've got a new machine, it's much faster. That'll change the tact time. And it just grinds my gears, because I think tact time is quite close to one of those fundamental pieces of learning within Lean.
It is.
I think for me, there's the concept of 7-8 wastes, the art of doing as little as possible. I'm a genius at it, boys. There is where you guys will have been driven, because I know your master, standardize, share the best ways of doing things, make sure everybody knows about it, but evolve them and keep them moving. There's never a standard, it's today's standard. And then the third one for me, the sort of basic tenets, is what have you got to do in order to satisfy the customer? And there's a quality angle to that. and there's this, and there's a safety angle. But fundamentally, for most people in most manufacturing organizations, what have we got to do is 30 an hour.
Yeah.
And you convert that into now, understanding the concept of tact. I just have to throw myself in front of anybody who starts using a different language. And I also have dealt with companies where, oh, I hear, well, okay, I get it, John. Unfortunately, we're a multinational, and globally we use tact to mean cycle time. So I'm afraid you're going to have to carry on with it.
It's funny, John. I actually put a YouTube video out about a year ago explaining the difference between cycle time, tact time, and lead time because and I think what's happened is that there might be a mix. So there's been some ropey teaching across the piece over time, but also when we say tact, we're shortening a German word for metronome, TAKT, aren't we?
Yes.
But actually, there is a TACT as well. There is a total actual cycle time, which is a technical term, but it's the accumulation of the cycles. So I think it's a good hill, John.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And it may not be a small one.
It's a frequent one, but everybody else says, "Why does it get so petty about that?" Yeah, whatever you call it, this we call it that.
My memory might be playing tricks with me now, but I could have sworn, John, that in our days back at IF, your Master was actually, and you're going to shoot me down here for saying this now. It's obviously not true with what you've just said. I thought we were sat down one day, and he was one of the ones that was fighting the corner that we should actually be using target cycle time. Because I know some of the teams, I actually sat in a masterclass, and one of the Masters, I can't remember for life, I thought it was yours, but I don't think it was.
I don't think it
was using target cycle time as opposed to tact time, and I vehemently disagreed, but wasn't sure enough to disagree at that time, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And going back to, and the reason being because of Russell's earlier point, because we should have that definitive, specific way of measuring, because that uncovers all the opportunities to improve.
Okay? And it's a pure number that links us to the customer.
Exactly right. And I'm thinking, well, what? So target cycle time, because you've got to allow for a level of inefficiency. You've got to be more realistic. But actually, no, you don't. I think the biggest danger we have in society, and in many of the businesses I'm working in a couple now, where the reason they're scared of doing it is actually the culture that's been embedded within the business, because they'll be driven and there'll be the repercussions of not achieving the target.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So they also put some allowance in to almost soften the blow and make it slightly easier. I'm not saying fudge it.
No,
it's actually the culture. It's within the business.
Just really dredging my memory back to Rio-san, and there may have been something that would have triggered that thought in you, and that was he got this idea, which I can go along with. We used to do a lot of line balance charts back in the day, didn't we? You know, different stages, because again, car plants lend themselves to that. And then you draw on your tact line. You know, everything has to happen at least this quick in order for us to deliver at the pace. So you had a red line, and it would cut across various bars.
And if I remember, he put another one on. Is that right? Is that what you're alluding to? Yeah.
And so he would sometimes say, "Okay, tact is tact. That is what we're achieving. That's what we need to achieve. However, there is real world things that we need to allow for. Not all of them can be built into frequentials, and we're not going to get technical today. That means, yes, tact is we must move the line forward every 2 minutes. However, we know we have an issue with, let's say, the reliability of the actual production line. That means twice a shift, somebody's going to come and defluff the mechanism and press reset, which means we're losing a little bit of extra time. This is not forever, but it's real. And if we hit tact, we will miss the customer because the available time is currently not right. What we will do is we're going to proportion that time, spread it across Tact, and say, well, that's given us 2 minutes becomes less.
Yes.
We've got to do everything in 1 minute 58.
Yeah.
Because those 2 seconds we're getting ahead.
Because you know that thing is going to happen.
By the frequency that will bring us back to Tact after a stoppage for defluffing.
And
we get that sawtooth thing going on.
That's what that's exactly what I remember, mate. That's exactly
and that was his discussion on that topic was under the heading of plan to succeed.
Yeah.
But I also remember sitting in with Mick's son afterwards.
Oh, I don't know, mate.
I won't tell you.
Have you been listening to Honda talk?
Yeah.
But John, I'm with Rio on this one, and that's shades of grey in that it's okay to show a different line, and if that's a planned cycle time where you factor the tact for an OEE loss, as long as you visualize that loss and you keep visualizing that loss, and you are tasking people up to close that gap.
Yes.
Then if you're in the shit as a business and you have to somehow get out of it, then sometimes you have to be a bit more pragmatic for a while you close the gap.
Yes. Yeah.
But then the difficulty is back to the culture element. You put a lot of caveats there, Russ. And this is only from my experiences. The caveats are X, Y, and Z, as you've said. As long as there is visibility that is an opportunity to improve, and there is a mechanism behind it, i.e., someone is owning that gap, and he's accountable for bringing it closer to getting it to Tact. I find that's very, very difficult in the real world, particularly in the Western world, because there's so many other real, in inverted commas, real world problems going on. Actually getting, I would say there's, you guys might disagree. I would say there's a very, very small number of businesses that I would be aware of that are
sophisticated
at that level. That's sophisticated. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, quite right.
But you're absolutely right in principle. Totally.
Interesting. I know this will resonate with Alan particularly because he's a theory of constraints man at heart. And again, Rio San's thinking on this was very much, and it relies on everybody understanding tact. Tact is tact. We've got 2 minutes as tact. You want the manager of the business to be able to walk past the line, see what's going on, wander over to the control board and go, wait, team leader, tact is 2 minutes, yes? What's this line at 1:58? It's a target tact to allow for, okay, show me the action that removes the line. So I understand what you're doing. You're running faster than tact, a waste. So what is the action to remove that line and go back to running at tact? Oh, we've got somebody looking into why fluff gets around the mechanism of the line. We've got a plan. Right, I'm happy. And what it becomes, and how he described it actually was, it's the same as a buffer in your drum buffer rope, theory of constraint stuff. It's a break glass in case of emergency thing. You can have a little stockpile of whip because you know the machine is going to break down.
Yeah.
That's okay as long as you haven't got a stockpile of whip in front of every machine and every flavour of work. And that stockpile of whip has got a flag on it saying, I'm bad news. Here's what we're doing about it. We're going to get rid of this and only ever have 2 little buffers somewhere. Well, Rio San's thinking was very much the same with his, there's tact. We've got to go at least that fast. But today we've got to go even faster because we know we've got an issue. And here is how we get out of this.
John, can we pick up that point in the next podcast?
Sure.
Because I think there's some stuff to talk about the right level of inventory. What is the correct level of inventory? That'll be fascinating. But because I bunnied on for 1.5 hours about my holidays, I think we might have to wrap it up there.
You've piqued Russell's interest there, John. You know how much he likes a bit of line balance.
He do like a number.
He do like a bit of line balance.
I do like a bit of line balance. But listen, gents, we probably need to signpost people who are listening, maybe attach a link to something to do with tact time or cycle time or something.
Yeah.
But we can talk about that outside of this. Shall we wrap up with if I give a quote of the day, and then maybe I'll just give the email address if people want to send questions.
Please do so.
Okay. So the quote of the day is the All Blacks rugby union team. They are celebrated as having cheated the sigmoid curve and have been successful for decades. We talk about the players, we talk about the coach, but there's a hidden man who's come out of the shadows called Gilbert Inoka. He was their mental coach.
Yeah.
Now, he said a phrase on a podcast I listened to last week that was tremendous on the plane. He said, when the lead, where do you put your training and your coaching? When the leader improves, everybody improves. Which I
Agreed.
quite like.
Totally agree.
So yeah, that's a quote of the week. And do you want the email address?
Yeah, where should people get in touch because they need to know more technical details on Tact, etc.
Okay, well, I understand that I've got this wrong before, so I've written it down specially so that I get it right. And it's more dross for the great internet content bin at gmail.com. Is that correct?
That is one of the optional emails. And should you wish to send your messages to there, boys and girls, good luck. And you're probably one of the sorts of people who uses tact incorrectly, so I won't care anyway. Al, for people who can calculate tact, where can they send a message and get a sensible answer?
And those that want a fair chance that they're going to get a reply.
Yeah, that
It
as
is
well.
the rest is lean at gmail.com.
Fantastic. Well, as always, a joy to ramble, banter, and philosophize with you two folks. And we look forward to seeing you folk on our podcast again real soon. The rest is lean. Bye all.
Bye.
Cheers, everyone. Stay safe.